What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a fun video. In today's video, I'm going to review the newest device from the dudes who made the Carta, the Focus V Aeris. Arise. I don't really know what it's called. Listen, before we get any further, I have a couple things I need to say about this. This was sent to me for free, but this is not sponsored. I did not get paid. They did not even ask me to make a review. I am not obligated to be doing this. And the reason I'm making this review is because, honestly, I don't think I really like this thing very much, and we're going to talk about that. Now, I'm making this video because, honestly, I'm disappointed. I really want Focus V to do better because I know they're capable of it. The Carta 2 is a good device. I enjoy it. I think their hot knife is cool too, but this just doesn't really work for me, and it's unfortunate because it doesn't really work for one reason. Everything else about it is fantastic. Before I get into why I don't like it and start complaining about it a bunch, I want to talk about what I do like about this device a little bit. So, this thing, as you could probably imagine or could have guessed before I even said this, is a portable dab device, right? This is meant to fit in your pocket, and I'd imagine this is probably meant to compete with the Puffco Proxy. However, it's a bit of a different take on portable dabbing. It kind of combines the aspects of the Proxy and like portable dab pens into one little device. And there's some stuff I love about this thing. Like, for example, it looks sick. I mean, it's cool. You can't deny it. It's cool. When you press the button and it lights up, it's cool. It's like, oh, that looks dope. You know, I like that. I really like how it feels in your hand. It's a cool little device. You know, it feels good. It's very portable. It's pretty lightweight. It's honestly lighter than I would have expected considering you've got a battery here. And it's just a very well thought out design. Before we smoke out of it, I'll take it apart a little bit and show you what I mean. So, I don't know if I've ever seen this before, but the battery is fully detachable, and I like that. I think it's cool. I think it's very clever. You can bring multiple batteries with you, so you never have any downtime. If you're really chiefing like that, you can just swap the battery, and it's super easy. You just put it back in. All right, well, now I'm having a hard time, but, like, I swear it's actually easy. I'm just struggling. No, I swear to God it's easy, bro. Like, this is not the device's fault. Okay, there we go. Yeah, all right. So, you know, it's pretty easy to put back in. But the whole thing comes apart, right? So, for example, you got the mouth cover here, which I actually don't like this. This should be attached to the device. This should be, like, hanging off, like a little rubber band. Come on now. I'm going to lose this, like, tomorrow. Come on, dude. But what I do like here and what really makes this an interesting thing and why I think a lot of people are going to end up buying this shit is because they just crammed a full-size Focus Carta atomizer into this pen. Now, for those of you guys who use a lot of e-rigs or portable dab devices, you might be familiar with the Proxy, and the Proxy has a smaller version of the atomizer, much smaller than the regular Puffco atomizer, and significantly smaller than the 3DXL, which I happen to have right in front of me. Oh, it's kind of dirty. Don't ignore that. However, you know, when you see this, you're like, oh, dude, it's going to be finally a portable device that really rips, a portable device that I can take fat dabs out of. And unfortunately, that's just not what this is at all. You know, it really looks promising, and when you drop your first dab in there and you get it going and you see the big atomizer, you're like, man, this is about to rip. And it honestly just kind of sucks ass. Now, in the market of e-rigs, in my opinion, the only thing that matters is the quality of the smoke, right? You can make a really cool device that looks dope, has awesome features, you know, lights up cool, but at the end of the day, what really matters is how it rips. A great example of this is Yocan. They make some of the ugliest looking fuck-ass devices I've ever seen in my life, but they do rip, I will admit. I've gotten some fat rips out of Yocan devices. They look like shit, though. What really matters is the smoke. At the end of the day, everything else is just extra. It's just an accessory. You're buying this because you want to get high, and you want to get high better, and you want a better experience. And this is $230, which, in the segment it's in, I think is pretty damn expensive for what you're getting here. You're essentially getting a Focus atomizer, a Carta atomizer, with no filtration in the format of a pen with a swappable battery. I think it's a little too pricey. If they went for like $199, we'd be Gucci, bro. We'd be in the money. But like, I think $230 is a little ambitious for this. And You know, like I said, it would be cool if it smoked fine, but it honestly does not. Now, I've taken God knows how many dabs out of this. I've only had it for a few days. I've taken, I would say, at least 30 dabs out of this, just testing it. I would be able to track it, but I'm unable because that feature doesn't seem to work, and I'll get to that later into the video. But I've taken a good amount of dabs out of this thing. I tried really hard to mess with all the settings. There's 5 different temperature settings on this, and they have an app where you're supposed to be able to go in and manage the temperature individually. So it expands on the 5 settings, but the app is completely non-functional, and I'll also get to that in a little bit. But just with the hardware, before we get to the software here, just talking on the hardware, it just doesn't hit. When you turn it on the higher temperatures, you expect to get a bigger cloud, but for some reason, you just don't. Instead of getting a bigger cloud, it just burns hotter and it hits rougher. I've noticed very little difference between the cloud production from the high settings and the lower settings. Yeah, there is a difference from the very lowest setting to like towards the top, but you know, it kind of gets mixed up on the middle settings, the 2, 3, and 4 setting. I didn't really notice very much of a difference. And one thing that I appreciate about dry dab devices, and I really value, is I value a smooth rip. I want to have a smooth hit because there's no water to filter anything that I'm hitting. And I think the proxy having a smaller atomizer works in its favor because it gives you a smoother rip. I don't know exactly the specs behind it. I'd imagine because it's smaller, probably doesn't get as hot either, doesn't hold as much. This, I honestly think the full-size atomizer is kind of holding it back. I think it would be better if they made a smaller one and might give a better hit, because as is, this thing just doesn't hit. And I'm gonna drop a dab in here right now with my absolutely filthy Focus V pen, right? Very dirty. I use this all the time, you know? And listen, I'm making this video because I'm a fan of Focus V products. I'm a fan of Puffco products. I'm a fan of getting high, bro. But this is extremely disappointing. I don't like this device at all, man. So let me run you through the temperature settings here. Now, you press it 5 times to turn on, and you get the default light. There's 5 settings, the lowest being blue, and I believe the top is red. Let me orient myself here. Yeah, so blue is the lowest setting, and you go through 5 different settings. So there's blue, yellow, green, purple, and red. And then it goes back to blue. Now, if you're able to actually use the app, which I was unable to, then you're supposed to be able to go in and do something similar to what the Puffco app does, where you can modify temperature settings and lighting and stuff like that. However, on the default, it's just these 5 temp settings, and I ripped multiple dabs on all 5 of these settings, and honestly, none of them really do it for me. We're going to do the middle setting, the green setting, 3 out of 5. It should be right in the middle. You just tap it twice to heat up, and it's pretty much like any other e-rig. It'll vibrate when it's ready. There's nothing that crazy going on here. And I hate that I have to sit here and talk shit about this thing on this video because I actually love it, bro. Like, the design is cool. The battery idea where it detaches is brilliant, honestly. I think every e-rig should have that. I really love some things about this, but the rip... Oh, it's ready. It doesn't really hit as well as I'd expect. And it kind of gives me like there's a dryness. Like, it's almost like the temperature isn't right or something. Like, it feels like it's too hot. I don't know. Maybe the smoke isn't traveling for long enough to cool down. It's just going straight from the atomizer, which is right here, up through the mouthpiece, which, by the way, I'm not sure exactly what the filtration is in the mouthpiece, but I don't think there's a ton going on up there. It seems to just be a few holes. So it doesn't, the hit's not really, like, it doesn't have enough time to cool down. You get a very hot hit out of this, even on lower temperatures, and it just doesn't give you a very good smoke. And you also don't get very much smoke out of it to begin with. All right, so now I'm going to rip a dab on the highest temp setting, just so you guys can kind of see what that looks like. I know everyone wants to see how much clouds that produces. Every new e-rig, you got to see what the highest temp looks like. So I dropped a dab in there. And one thing I also notice about this device that I think the Carta 2 doesn't really have this issue is it takes forever to cool down. I just took a dab out of this probably like 10 minutes ago since I filmed that last clip, right? Took a little break, went and Q-tipped the device, had a sip of water, got ready to film the next segment of this video, and I just dropped the dab in here. Probably, I'd say close to 10 minutes, maybe not 10 minutes, maybe like, I'd say 7 or 8 minutes, on the way to 10 minutes after, and the device is still very warm. The dab didn't like smoke or anything, but it definitely melted down, right? And it is some rosin, so it's going to do that at a lower temp, of course. That's just the nature of the hash rosin. But, it seems like this device doesn't cool down very quickly. So I worry that if you were taking a lot of dabs out of this, you might get it too hot. I don't know, how this really cools down. I mean, there's, no ventilation. Actually, yeah, wait. How does this what's happening here? Oh, you got some holes up there. All right, yeah, just, blow in that bitch. Hey, we good. All right, so we're going to do a dab on the highest temperature setting just so you guys can see that. So the highest temp is red, so we're going to run a red dab. I think it's heating. It blinked 3 times. I'm pretty sure it's heating. But just so you guys can see what that looks like. But yeah, overall, the smoke experience I'm not crazy about with this thing, which sucks because otherwise I dig this, bro. If this hit harder, I would be ranting and raving about this device right now. And before I even got it, I was planning to make a review anyways. I was like, I want to talk about this. It's a cool new thing. Cheers, by the way. Bro, it's just obviously, it's the highest temp. It is too hot to be enjoyable. There's, nothing cooling the smoke down at all. It is so hot. It's not even actually, the smoke itself being rough or the hash. It's literally just too hot. There's just not enough time for the smoke to cool down here, coupled with the fact that the device seems to get pretty hot, there's not a lot of heat distribution going on here, it seems. It's just, fuck, dude. Oh, God. That's what a dab on the highest temp looks like. All right, so now we got to talk about the real issue with this device. And arguably the biggest reason that I dislike this device right now is because at the time of recording this, and this device is out now, you've been able to buy this for a bit now. They're getting delivered to people now. At the time of recording this, the mobile app that they advertise, you being able to go in and change your temperatures, is just straight up broken. It does not work at all. Now, when I was trying to find the mobile app, I was looking for it on the App Store. I couldn't find it, right? I didn't know what it was called. So I went to the Carta website, right? Granted, I didn't read the instructions at first, right? I should have. I don't read instructions. So I went to the Carta website, and they had a link that said download to the App Store. So I clicked the link, and the link didn't work. It said the app wasn't available in my region or something. So I was like, okay, that's strange. So then I busted open the manual, and the QR code in here does work. It does take you to the app. If you go to the connecting to the app page right here, and you scan that code, you guys can even try it yourself right there if you'd like. I'll do it right now just to show you guys. Here we go. Yeah, it opens the app, right? It's called the V browser. Now, it's essentially, if you guys have ever used a Puffco device and you've paired it with your phone, this is essentially a dupe of that, or it's trying to be. It is a browser that is supposed to, when you open it, connect you to your device with Bluetooth and take you to a website, a URL, where there you can see the interface that controls your device, right? When you use the Puffco app, for example, let me find it on my phone. It's called the Path browser, right? So when you use the Path browser, for example, it's the same thing. It's a browser, but it takes you to a page that looks like this, right? Where you have the interface already pulled up. You're at the right place. You see all your heat profiles. That's what the Carta app is supposed to do. That's what it's supposed to look like. That's what they advertise, right? They show you going into the app and doing that, right? However, if you read the instruction booklet, and if you go on their website, and if you look anywhere on the packaging, including in the backpack, right, on the box of the device, in the user manual, on the company website, on the product page, it doesn't tell you what URL to go to in the app. And that would be fine if it worked like Puffco's app, where it automatically just took you there. But it doesn't. You open the V browser, and it just goes to the Google homepage. That's all it does. It doesn't take you, look. It just goes to Google. It doesn't prompt you to go anywhere. So at first I thought maybe my phone's tweaking. I've uninstalled and reinstalled this more times than I can count at this point. I thought maybe my phone is tweaking, right? I don't know. Maybe something's acting up. I'm gonna try my iPad, right? I have an iPad. So I said, okay, I can scan the QR code. Let's download the browser. Let's see what we can do, right? So I go on my iPad, I download the browser, and I figure surely it's different here, right? And when I open it on my iPad, here I am. Here I am on Google, on the homepage. There's no indication. You don't, it's literally just a browser. Look on the bottom. You have the bookmark tab, the history, and the share the link, right? It's literally just a browser. There's nowhere that you press in here that gives you any indication of where you're supposed to go with your device. There's no information on the website. There's no information in the instruction manual with a URL. It just says, oh, open this app and it will automatically do it. But the problem is, I don't think anyone at Carta actually tried it, because it doesn't. It just goes to fucking Google, all right? I tried it on 2 devices and it prompts you to connect via Bluetooth. I have Bluetooth enabled for the V browser app and on my phone, and have the device on at the same time, which is what the instructions say. They say have the device powered on, enable Bluetooth for the V browser app, open the app, and it will prompt you to connect the device. And I do get prompted by the app to enable Bluetooth, even when it's already enabled. And that's all it ever does. It just tells me to enable Bluetooth. It doesn't connect anything. Nothing is prompted from the app. The device doesn't react in any way. And there's no further instruction anywhere that I can find from the company on how to actually use the mobile app. And that's a very, very integral part of the product. If you look at a Puffco, right, a Peak, a Puffco would not be the same without the app. The amount of control over the device that you get in the app is awesome, and it is so far above just 5 temperature settings. We are way beyond being locked to just 5 temperature settings, and honestly, if they just advertise that, that's one thing, and they probably will fix the app eventually. It's not like they're going to let this be broken forever, but the fact that they shipped it with the app this broken, and I'm clearly not the only person experiencing this. If you go to the app reviews on the App Store, they're not great. They're not great. This is clearly not an isolated issue. I have tried this on 2 devices. The app is essentially just a search engine. It's Google. That's all it is. It's completely worthless at the time of recording this video. And granted, make sure that if you're considering this device, look up updated info if you're watching this long after it's uploaded. Like I said, I'm sure they're not going to just let it be broken forever, but the fact that it shipped like this and no one how does this occur, man? And I also understand that this probably isn't an issue that everybody is having, but for me, it seems that either my device just doesn't interact with the app, or the app doesn't give a shit about my device, but it's just not working, man. And I'm very disappointed by this. The smoke is rough. It's too hot. It just doesn't hit right. It feels wrong. It feels like when you were in high school and you used to drop vapes on your box mods. If any of you guys had those in that era, you drop them on the little vape coils and you just drop your dab on that shit, and that's how you take it. That's what this reminds me of and feels like. Honestly, it kind of hits like back in high school when I used to drop dabs on the RDAs, on the coils of my vapes. If any of you guys remember, the box mod era, everyone vaping, you could drop dabs right on the metal coils of those before you put cotton in. Honestly, this gives a fairly comparable smoking experience. There's nothing that tells me this should be $230. It's super disappointing. It's overpriced. The app is broken, but everything else about it is sick, which makes me so disappointed. The battery coming off is awesome, bro. I wish every device, every portable dab device, I wish the Proxy did this, bro. I wish every device did this. That's awesome, right? I wish the full-size chamber is a good idea. They're going in the right direction, but this just, I feel like this wasn't hashed out enough. This wasn't this needs to go back to the drawing board. I'm excited to see the V2 of this. I'm sure they'll probably drop a V2 someday, and maybe that will kick ass, but this right here just doesn't do it for me. Focus V, if you're watching this, Please don't take this as an attack. They sponsored me once before. They probably won't ever again after this video. But like I said, I got the product for free. This isn't a paid review. I wasn't compensated in any way for this. I want to make that clear. I'm just disappointed, man. I was excited. I expected a lot more, and I feel very let down. And I'm really disappointed that the app doesn't work, and I'm just blown. I'm sad, dude. Like, I've wasted so much rosin trying to get a good dab out of this thing, and I just can't. I just can't. So I'm sad. I'm disappointed, guys. I'm disappointed, guys. This is not a device that I'll probably be using again. But thank you all for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's been a little bit since I did a little sesh-like review kind of video. Figured I'd throw one in. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Doses.